Hi, folks. Good evening, wherever you are listening in. If you're from Nigeria, the Americas, South America, wherever you are, welcome to a Twitter space with me, Kalu Aja. Here we talk money, finance, and of course, the economy, but we want to make it personal. How do all these concepts affect your personal wallet? And today we are talking about credit, right? Credit, personal credit, business credit, but we're going to focus more, I believe, on personal credit. Just to give you some background, the figures for Nigeria are abysmal. I saw a data point from the Enhancing Financial Inclusion and Access in Nigeria. That's an organization that tracks financial inclusion in Nigeria. And they posted that I believe the amount of Nigerians that had accessed credit, i.e., the amount of adult Nigerians in the banking population that accessed credit, was below 5%. I.e., if you take the total number of Nigerians that can have a bank account, less than 5% have accessed credit since 1960. I mean, that's not even a data point. That's really like that's really a drag on the economy. Without credit, we all know you cannot grow the informal sector, especially the SMEs that need credit at that level. And also now that we have the economy and the demographics of who we call a worker changing, where you have workers working across boundaries, across countries, sell remote work and all that, what COVID has introduced, we now have a different kind of workforce using different kinds of needs for credit, right? So it's a good idea to talk to one of the providers, the guys that are in this space, probably a fintech, to get their perspectives, and then see what they are doing can impact we as the consumers and of course the SME folks, how we can impact us and hopefully grow our business. So my pleasure to have the guys from Carbon here with us this evening to talk about their mission on how they want to revolutionize the banking landscape. So let's get them on here. Hey, Carbon, how you guys doing? Okay, guys, you got to hit the unmute and then you got to speak. So before they get that sorted out, right? So let me lay it out for you guys again. You cannot look at any economy, anyone, right, where there is no access to credit and you see the GDP growing or wealth increasing. Literally, if you plot Nigeria and you look at where credit is given and where the GDP per capita is high, you see a correlation. So you see in Lagos, where you have a larger concentration of banks and banking services, has a faster growth in terms of productivity and in terms of personal wealth creation than, say, other states where you don't have a large number of banks. Literally, there are some banks in some states that are just what we call deposit collectors. And then you come to some states where we have credit creators. Wherever credit is created, that's where you then have wealth being created. And banking in Nigeria, I don't want to use the word banking, credit in Nigeria has been done by banks. Now we have the fintech guys coming in, like Carbon, coming in to then offer credit. It's a very, very important, in development. Without disseminating credit to the middle, the small, medium, and should we say the micro credit, you really don't have an economy. It's just that simple. So it's very important, like whatever the government does, whatever the CBN does, they are able to, should we say, unshackle the financial landscape to allow more players deliver access to credit. This is what we call the financial inclusion, deliver access to credit, right, to the population. So I'm waiting on Carbon to unmute so we can get this conversation started. I want to learn a lot more about them. I see them on the space. Once they unmute, I give them the mic and then we can get going. But for now, I'm just going to talk, my thing, wealth creation is, it's, you can have all the goals you can have all the means, all the research, but without that access to credit, you really aren't going anywhere. A startup in San Francisco can get credit. So their failure is not because they don't have credit. The business idea could fail, but the best business idea in Nigeria can't get credit. I just give you guys a data point. Less than 5% of Nigerians Nigerian banking population since 1960 has not been able to access credit from a bank, right? So what that means is that we've had to then create these non-banking alternatives to getting credit. Just today, I posted on my Twitter handle how startups can get credit. Startups should not go to banks for credit. Banks are not designed for startup finance because bank loans are short-term and are quote unquote expensive. Banks are designed for your working capital. You have a need that are going to get cash soon, you go to a bank, you take that loan, you clean it up, right? You don't take a bank loan to start a business. No. You use your family and friends, you use your own capital, you use equity, long-term equity. That's how you start a business, not with a bank loan. So we want to see more of it. So let's assume you now have the equity from your business. Your family gave you some money, your friends give you some money, you sold your car, sold your land, and you then start this business. You then have a contract or you then have a pitch that you're going to do. And if you do that contract or that pitch, you then get payment back, say 90 days or 180 days. That's when you go to a bank to finance that transaction. So it's more of short term, right? So you do a line, you can use your credit card if possible. That's when you use a bank loan. But to set the business up, to hire people, to get an office, to buy your equipment, be careful about going to the banks. There's nothing wrong with the banks. That's what they're designed to do. Banks don't finance startup. Their deposits are short term. They are there to help you working capital. Equity from your family, from your friends, from seed. That's how you finance a startup. And if you look at all that seed round, seed A, B, C, they all have different classification, when you can get them, when you can get them, and how you should use them. But you do not want to use short-term, high-interest bank credit before you get a loan. All right, folks, I'm not seeing Carbon on mute, so I'm just going to throw the floor open, guys. If you have a question, we want to talk about credit, I can do that for you. Let's see what I can do. Are we seeing what's happening in the Nigerian banking sector, guys? Are you seeing what's going on right now? How we've gone from the floating exchange rates to what we have right now? How is that affecting your banking? Is it better for you if you go to your bank? Are you able to get a loan? Yeah, that's also a topic we can talk about next week. But I'm here. Let me go to my DMs and see if the shy folks. Okay, yes. Someone is asking, what is a native? That's what I want Carbon to answer. What's a digital native? I understand that to mean in this current work environment where you are doing remote work or you're working borderless, right? You work in Nigeria, you're getting paid by someone else in a different country. Essentially, that's basically where that comes if you're a native. Yeah. Okay, hold up. I'm going to remove these guys from host. Though, if you're a host, you can speak. There we go. So I'm going to put you guys as speakers, and hopefully you can accept. We're waiting on you guys, so don't keep us waiting. Go ahead, Carbon, accept the invite to speak, and then just get right in here. But let me go back to my DMs as usual. So that's what I think a digital native is, but I'm not a tech guy, right? So the tech folks would come up and would be able to tell us what a digital native is. But look at it this way. I got a DM from a guy, I think it was this week. He works in Nigeria. He earns net $12,000 net every month. That's what he net every month. But he's living in Nigeria. And he gets that money comes into a foreign bank account and he can get access to it to change in Nigeria. That sort of guy is what you're seeing now as the norm in Nigeria, where lots of IT folks are now applying their trades across borders, getting paid in different jurisdictions. And those funds or those kind of workers are not going to be able to walk into a Nigerian bank and say, I want to take a loan, because they don't get paid in Nigeria, right? So you can't do a verification of income, say with Nigerian sources. You might have to maybe write to the US bank, but still, it's an outsourced guy. He's not a staff. He's not an employee. He has no credit or he has no pay slip. He wasn't employed. It's a gig economy. He does this, he gets paid. But he's on a long term, they've held him for a long term and he works with different employers. So that kind of guy walking to a Nigerian bank, right? How does he get credit? That's the whole idea. How does he get credit? This is what really we're going to talk about with carbon, right? So if you come to the traditional Nigerian bank, they would ask you, what's your collateral? What's your source of income? What do you want to use the funds for? You might have to fill in an application. It goes to a human to approve it, and then it comes back to you. But we want to democratize that credit, to make it, when we say the word democratization, you know what it means, take it down to the root level, to make it easier for this class of folks, right? That class of folks, we need to walk into a bank and say, this is what I do. This is the new economy, and I would like to get credit to do this. Maybe buy a computer or a server. How can you help me? Now, those loans, we want those loans to be faster, right? We want the approach to be faster because it's more targeted. And we want the guy that is listening to us to understand exactly what we are asking him to do. So that when we tell him, listen, we'll work for 2 or 3 employers, he understands it's a power game. He knows we don't have a collateral, that our collateral is our pay slip. You understand that we don't have to be an employee to be quote unquote earning from the company. This is what we want the new and emerging, should we say, providers of capital to understand. Banking is not going to be the only way that you get loans in Nigeria, right? Banking is just one part of the way you get financing. Banks are not the only source of funds in the country. They're just, should we say, the biggest and most visible. We have to then create other means where we are able to then access credit, especially in this space that does not have the conventional means to assure that they earn income. So what I'm trying to say in simple English is this: if you are a digital guy or you work in the gig economy, it's very, very difficult for you to get a bank loan because their policies or profiles are not set up to approve a bank loan for you. Hence, when we see folks like Carbon coming with new products that perhaps will address that gap in the market, we're very, very interested. And I would love to have them on here. I can't seem to find them. So hang on, guys. I mean, I'm here. I can talk all topics, but I want to talk this particular topic with these folks. If they don't show, then we might need to, if someone pops in and asks a question, sure, I'll answer. You guys got me here, so I'll answer. Let me look. Please advise me on how I can own a home the next 10 years. He says, I've done my first year, let me see, as a professional engineer. Okay, I'll tell you. If you want to get a home, the question is in what country? I got Carbon here now. So sorry, I'll come back to you. Hey, how you doing, bro? Carbon, you've been keeping us waiting. What's happening?
I'm good. My apologies for the delay. We had technical issues. But I sorted that now.
Excellent job. All right. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the waiting community and then we can get started.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yano. I am a product manager at Carbon.
Great. Yano. So Yano, I've been trying to tell people without telling people too much about what you guys do. I wanted them to hear it from the Carbon's mouth, right? So what are we talking about today? What is this thing you bring to us today? Could you give us a bit more insight? Essentially what it is?
Yeah, sure. Again, thanks, Carlo. I overheard your conversation prior to where we were trying to log in. So before I give a full disclosure of what we're about, just a background, Carbon's mission is pretty much simple: to be everywhere our consumers go and play fundamental roles in their lives. And how do we do this? One of the ways we do this is by providing very versatile credit solution for their unique financial needs. And on this space, we are going to be addressing how Carbon can be a very great tool to access credits for young people, digital natives, and upwardly mobile professionals.
Excellent. So talk to us about why you're inspired to do this. I tried to fill in for you, but talk to us why you are doing this. Is it because there's a gap in the market, or is it because you have a product that is really, set up for this? So talk to us, please.
Yeah. Thanks. So why exactly are we doing this? One of the things we realized before we started rolling out credit facilities, as we began to transition into a digital bank, we realized there was needs with our kind of users. And so when we checked the data point with the kind of users that makes use of Carbon, we found that there were middle class, there were young people, there were digital natives. And what they needed in addition to their usual cycled income was credit facility. And what Carbon is doing is we are providing access to very stress-free and simple credit solutions for these users.
I like that word you use cycle. Say that again, please. You said cycle income?
Yes, cycle income.
What does that mean?
So what that means is if you're between 25 to 40 year old and you have a job, more often than not, your income comes in. I mean, some people got paid yesterday, so people are going to pay this between the 21s to 27s. And so between the first of the month and sometimes the mid of the month, you've realized most young people, most people on paid employment seem to be out of money or income. And so it would be great to have in such periods to have access to credit facility.
Gotcha. So it's more or less I get my income, but because of expenses, I'm running low. You guys can step into that working capital bridge.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. So is this targeted? Talk to us. Who is the digital native? Let's hear from you. Who is the digital native?
All right. So thanks, Khalid. For us, what we call a digital native in the context of in the Nigerian context, is someone who grew up predominantly with access to technology and definitely in the information age and have access to like technologies at their fingertips.
Yeah.
And so we classify those people as digital natives.
Gotcha. So this is like a tech bro, tech girl, and all that. So do they have to live in Nigeria, or this is like who is the demographic of a digital native? Give me a demographic.
But we don't necessarily have to be a tech bro. I think it better put us tech savvy. Access to. I've got great internet presence. I've got access to pretty much comfortable with the internet or technology generally, as it were. And so that's a typical kind of user. The fact that you're on this space, this link shows that you're conversant with the use of social media.
Gotcha.
And you're somewhat aware to join this kind of space on finance. And so for a demographic would be young people between the age, preferably between the age of 25 to 40. And I've got great social media awareness, pretty much socially savvy, and I've got access to go around and maneuver the internet. So that's how we would classify digital native in this context.
All right, so now
you don't have to be in Nigeria. It's not compulsory you should be in Nigeria. It's limited to just folks here in Nigeria.
Gotcha. So let me use myself. Let's say I'm in Jos, Plateau State, right? And I am a 30-year-old guy. I work I do IT and all that. So what would you guys use in terms of criteria and processes? If I want to get a loan of, say, 50,000 naira, it just came as an emergency to buy a new laptop, whatever that broke over the weekend. How would you guys what's the criteria? What's the process? What do I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How does that work?
Yeah, and very simple steps on how to, in this particular case, how do we access credit? Do you access credit facility? Very simple. You depending on what device you're making use of. If you're an Android or an iOS, you go to the Play Store, you download Carbon's app, and you complete your registration, which is quite simple. Once you're done with your registration, you're particular about getting the credit facility, we need to have basic credit assessment done, and which is either which you submitting your BVN or your bank statement. And the reason why we're asking for this is so we can able to just do due diligence and for assessment on our end. And from there, we are able to offer you credit facility in just simple steps. Again, you download the app, you sign up, and you complete your KYC to a significant level, then you can access credit.
Do you guys pull my credit score?
Sorry, I didn't get that, Carlo.
I said, do you guys pull like my credit score? I know there's a credit scoring in Nigeria now. Are you going to pull my credit score to give me? Is that going to be a factor?
Yeah, definitely. That would play a good role in determining the volume of how much you're going to get access to.
Okay, so I wanted in this case 50,000 naira, right? Do you have like an income level I have to be on to get this 50,000 naira, or how does it work? Is it that if you get my BVN, do you use my income to justify how much you give to me, or is it more like credit? How do you know how much you give to me, more or less?
So from your
You're breaking up a bit, sir. I think you broke up. Can you guys hear him? You broke up a bit. Are you back? Okay, so let's just dive in here. Hello, sir. I think it's got some tech issues there. Let me.
Can you hear me? I can actually hear you.
Go for it, sir. I can hear you. Yes. I'd asked the question. I don't know if you can hear me. I'd asked the question, right? So if I give you my BVN, right, and I want to get 50,000 naira loan, how does that work? Do you look at my income to determine how much you give me as a loan, or my assets? How does it work? Like, just, if you could share just a bit of that internal, how does it work?
Yeah. So for you to get 50,000 naira loan now, we have got a very robust credit assessment process, and in addition to, like you made mention of your BVN, we would require you to provide your bank statement, and this will give us a rough idea as to your to verify your income. And more importantly, we also adopt a debt to income ratio, which is to measure our customer ability to repay back, and without putting it in such a burdensome manner. And all of these factors come into play when determining how much you can get access to.
Gotcha. So I hear you say debt to income level. I hear you say income. So those are two big things that we're going to focus on if you want to get a loan, right? So my most important question is, what's the interest rate I would pay? I would use the word APR, but let me just use as interest rate in this. What would I pay if I were to get this loan of 50,000 naira? How much would you guys charge me? And how long could I take this loan for?
So for the interest rate is really dynamic in the sense that for every customer, we've developed at Carbon, we've developed an internal income model. And what that does is that there are different factors that comes into play when determining the interest for a particular facility. So for example, your employment type, your repayment rate, the customer's risk level, and more importantly, their income level pretty much comes into play when determining the limit, and as such, the interest that is levied on that. The reason why we do this is so that we don't have a situation where we get to give customers amounts of money that they're unable to pay back. So interest level is quite interest on each loan is dynamic in this calculation.
Yeah, but what do you guys have a minimum, maximum cap? How does it work? Like, this is a question again. This is a question I've gotten since people I want to know. Okay, I know what a bank will charge me. So what's the range? Like, if I got excellent credit, excellent income, I eat my cornflakes and everything, what would you guys charge me?
So so a good example is one of our products, a credit product called Carbon Zero. And for that particular product, and you would go online and you realize that it's interest free, and we do not charge interest on it. It's 0% interest on a monthly basis. What is charged there is a 5% processing fee. And so for such credit facility right now, it's interest free. So what I'm saying there is, it could be as low as 3 to 5%, but primarily we do not charge a fixed income. We do not charge a fixed interest on this facility.
Yeah, so the reason why I'm asking is I don't want to get into a loan should we say what's called loan trap. Because the guy you've mentioned, these guys that work with this cycle income, right? They don't get their incomes monthly. They don't usually get paid month by month, right? So we got to be careful that if a guy is getting his income, he gets it paid once per gig, he's not paying this fixed income, that eats into his own principal. He gets money maybe in December, but in April, he doesn't have money. And if he's paying that, fixed charge, it might be that's why I'm asking this question, to get the real cost of the loan. I love the loan. It sounds like it's a targeted way to get funding to that class of demographic, but the cost is going to be something that I really would love us to land on if we could. I hear you say the 0%, but yeah.
So for a new user that signs up on Carbon right now, you can get credit facilities as low as 5%.
5%. All right, guys, you've heard him say that 5% for new users that sign up with you. Okay, so in terms of are there other perks for me? If I take this loan, can I repay on time? Would you guys charge me if I repay on time? If I got the loan, I was going to pay 2 months, but I got my credits maybe next week and I repay on time. Is there a fee for that? Do I get bonus points? How does that work?
So if you take Carbon Zero loan or any other loan on the platform, nobody charges you for paying on time. If I get you right, there are no penalties if you pay on time or any of those. How it works is in area like I earlier shared. We try as hard as possible to have a very while it's quick, we ensure it's very detailed credit assessment done on each user for each loan application, and as such, we endeavor not to give you credit facilities that is going to be a burden to you. And so when it's a period of repayment, you don't have to struggle with it. However, life happens, things could be very difficult. We live in a very volatile society, and anything could happen. And as such, you may not be able to meet up with repayment. And there we put a very small charge for you if you're unable to meet up with your repayment as initially agreed.
Okay, so
which is done with daily repayment.
Okay, I hear you. That. Let me throw you a curveball. I'm only asking this because this came during the week. The CBN has asked financial institutions to collect a lot of data from their customers going forward. A lot of data: phone number, residential address, place of birth, BVN. I mean, they're asking for social media handle and everything. So let's come to Carbon, right? In terms of data collection, data privacy, you're going to look at my BVN or before even CBN ask for that. How safe is it? We're all digital now. If I give my information to Carbon, how safe is that?
And that's a good question. Like you rightfully pointed out, just yesterday we saw went around the internet where the CBN has mandated the collection of social media handles, and so these are really for us at Carbon, we're really careful and particular about this data from our users. Because they're given in trust. And so for the question on data privacy and security concerns for users in the financial service space or banking space, we ensure at Carbon that we follow the best practices and standards with data privacy, and we work very closely with regulators. More importantly, we ensure that the data that is given in trust by our users are not divulged. We also put in place very strict standards, including GDPR and PCL. This ensures we are in peace with the highest level of standards, and we ensure that these users, like I said, this data is not shared or divulged with third parties.
I hear you. So, like I know in the States, if I give them my information, they give me the one policy that says I can sign off if I want my information shared. They destroy my information after a certain number of years. I'm not sure if Nigeria has those policies in place where I can say I don't want my information shared and it should be destroyed. I'm not sure if we have it. I'm not asking that question. I'm just saying, I'm not sure if there's a law in Nigeria that says information collected has got to be destroyed, or this is how it should be used. But it's worth noting that that's something we can, talk around, as we say, right? So somebody's asking me a quick on DM. I'll just get that across to you. Someone's asking, do you do educational loans? Very, very specific question. So we need to address that if you do educational loans, or if it's going to fall under this category, more or less.
For now, at Carbon, we do not offer educational loans.
Okay.
However, we offer other loans that can suit the purposes for education. So once you sign up on Carbon, there are several loans or credit facility which you can gain access to, which is somewhat also do the work of an educational loan.
Okay, and this is more. So since you said you don't offer educational loans, so these are mostly personal loans and lines of credit, i.e., what Carbon is offering.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I if I take the personal loan, does the objective, if I say I want to use it for X, do I have to tell you what I want to use the loan for? Or if my income is good, can I just take the loan from you guys and say it's personal reasons? Would that fly?
Very, very, very straightforward as that, Carlo. We don't need to be particular about the reason. Once you provide us with the required verification document, your bank statement, your BVN, and verify you've got a good credit score and you've got a good assessment, you have access to take credits to the tune at which you've been scored at, and you're good to go.
Okay. Quick question for you again, right? What else are you guys doing in the Nigerian banking space? I hear you say the word digital bank. How else are you guys using digital technologies to provide a seamless, convenient banking experience, right? What else are you guys doing apart from the loans? I've come across Carbon here and there. But what are you guys doing that is so different, right? Say the big banks. If you could just walk us through what makes you guys different at Tech, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Carlo. At Carbon, we've come a long way. We've transformed from a credit company to a credit-led digital bank. And aside from offering credit loans, we also offer a variety of other products or offer other services like bill payments, like debit card. You could also get access to the buy now pay later product, and so you have access to savings, to free transfers, deposit, and high yield savings accounts. So pretty much, it's a digital bank. The services you could obtain at a traditional legacy bank, you can as much get at Carbon. The difference is it's a lot seamless, it's a lot faster, and it's more accessible for you. You don't have to. It's hassle free. So regardless of your income level, you could pretty much access credit facility. You don't have to submit collateral. You don't have to bill. It's not as stringent as a traditional bank, and it's very quick. You can get at the stage of your fingers. So that's what we offer at Carbon. In addition, if I didn't mention, we also provide investment. Oh. So you could have access to investment also.
Well, talk to me about that. What does that mean? The investment side, yeah.
So if you go on Carbon now as a new user, you could have different investment plans. There are also different savings plans that you can choose that suits your risk appetite or risk level. And at Carbon, you have access to all of this.
Okay, so if I were to just save money for a year, I could do that on Carbon.
Yeah, you could do not just the year. Like I said, there are different savings plans that you could use, like Vault. It's very dynamic. The savings is also there's a saving that you can take out your money without. You could break your savings, and there are also savings plan that could be held for as low as 6 months, as much as 12 months, based on your need or your risk appetite, pretty much.
Is this something you could share the interest on those things? Is it something you could share now, or?
Yeah. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I'm asking, is this something you could share what those rates would be? I'm just asking.
So for interest rates, you could, the interest varies for all of these savings plans. So if you're saving for a minimum of 1 month, you could get very small interest compared if you're saving for a longer period of time. But let's say between 10 to 15%, you can get interest currently. For Cash Vault, you can get interest at 15.5% for your savings that you put on Carbon. And while for Flex, you get interest of 9%.
Oh, and I can get that money. It's like I get a higher rate of return when I put with you guys, but I get the flexibility. It's online and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if you heard me. All right, so let me just, I'm just looking at the DMs. I got some great questions for you here in the DMs, if you don't mind. I don't know if anyone wants to speak. I don't know if you want to take questions, but I've got a lot of questions on the DMs for you, right? So do you mind me asking you a few? I think it's off again.
I can hear you. Okay. I'm here.
Gotcha. All right, so someone is asking on the DM, what's the longest tenure that he could get this loan for?
What's the long term what? I didn't catch that.
So he's asking in terms of the tenure, right? That was the longest tenure that these loans are available for. Can you get it for a year? Is it a maximum tenure for the loans in question?
Yeah, you could save on Carbon as it were as long as 5 years.
Okay, good. Okay, I've got Timilade. Timilade, I've got you on point. Thanks for requesting to speak. You got a question?
Hi, good evening.
Hey, I can hear you. Hi, Timilade, how you doing? Where are you calling from?
Calling from Nigeria.
Gotcha. Yeah, go for it. You got a question?
Thank you for answering all the questions, Carbon representative. I think for me as a business owner, my question is a little bit different, and I'm very sure that there are probably people who run small businesses on this call, or people who are just looking to start out businesses. So, for example, when I started my t-shirt business about 2 years ago, it was just me doing my thing in my bedroom before it graduated to me getting a store here in Abuja. And I think one of the major things I wish I probably had, access to at that time was enough capital, because there was a lot of demand for my business actually. So it was not just something abstract that I just wanted to do with the money. So for business owners like me, and probably some of the business owners listening on this call, what are the chances of getting loans for small business owners? Because when you go to banks, they ask you to bring collaterals and all those things. So for people like us, are there chances for us to get loans for us to start our businesses or scale our businesses?
Great question, right? I mean, that's the real question everyone wants to know, right? What do I need? How can I get access to this? That's really what people want to know. That's what I have on my questions. Carbon, you got the floor, sir.
All right. If I confirm, to me, you asking about loans for businesses. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your question very clearly towards the end.
Yes, loan for businesses, but not just businesses, small growing businesses.
Carlos, so I didn't get to hear her speak. Is it possible for you to rephrase the question?
She's asking that she wants to get access to loans, not just for businesses, right? But small, medium, micro businesses. She wants more clarity on those options. What are the options for Carbon for small, micro businesses? How can they get access to those loans? So I mean, she's saying she's an SME. What are the loan products that are really targeted at her? And she's saying she's not just an SME, quote unquote, big SME, but assuming she's a small micro SME, what are the loan products targeted at her? Yeah.
All right, gotcha. Thanks a lot. So for small businesses, SMEs that would require loans, Carbon would provide very unique loans for SMEs. And what we require from you now is, if you're going to sign up to get SME loans, you have to provide us with bank statements and CSE, your corporate document that shows that you're a registered business. And what that does for us is that it helps us determine how much we can provide to you. And once you provide us with this as much as 10 million naira, if you provide this document and you see that you've been assessed to the tune of that amount. And so there's loan accessible for entrepreneurs, for those building small businesses in Nigeria. All you have to do is log into our portal to SME loans, Carbon SME loans, log into the portal and fill in the required field, which requires uploading your documents and providing the necessary information. Then we'll get back to you on that.
All right, Timmy, I don't know if you had his response to me.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think that's quite clear and straightforward. Thank you.
Do you have a second question? Or you're good?
I think I'm good for now.
Gotcha. I've got Rio. Rio, what's up? Rio Agu. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine.
Rio, you got a question for Carbon? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm doing fine. I wanted to ask, I like the question that the lady just asked. And she said something about small scale businesses, right? So I'm working on getting my own, registering my business. I'm almost there. So, and I want to know, that sometimes when you get this loan, even when you are trying to do what you want to do, sometimes the thing don't materialize instantly. So I want to ask, is it possible that you can give a 1 month break or something, so that maybe most times when you start a business, these things don't materialize instantly, like a 1 month break.
Like a moratorium. You're asking if they can give you 1 month moratorium?
Yes, to put things together, get some shit together and all that.
That's a good question. I mean, you're asking, you're not saying that they should, right? So, Carbon, did you hear his question, sir?
Yes, yeah. I'm asking.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot. That's a good question, because I can understand that. I mean, like you rightfully pointed out, Nigeria can happen. Things can be. It's a very interesting situation running business here in Nigeria. So I quite understand what you're saying. Nonetheless, I can tell you for a fact that at Carbon, there are no hidden charges. Processing loan processing is quite seamless and disbursement is great. However, for situations of breaking or pausing the loan, as it's were currently, we do not offer such level of flexibility where small business or SME loans can be paused. We do not offer that. And so, as it's were currently, what is obtainable is you could, once you operate in Nigeria, regardless of your size, you make monthly sales, you're a registered business, you can provide us with an active bank account with visibility for the last 6 months. Between 2 to 5 working days, and it's disbursed immediately. And while we do not also to pause your loan with us, we are very flexible in the sense that we provide weekly or monthly loan repayment. I think that's how far we can help with flexibility. But with regards outrightly pausing the loan, I don't think it's feasible, and we do not currently afford or provide that kind of service.
Yeah, you're not there yet. I mean, it's reasonable because you are also paying interest on the capital that you have raised to lend out to third parties. So I get that. I mean, I know do they do that in the States? Very, very few people do that, because Rio, just to make the point clear to you, right? The bank itself is getting money from investors to give out to you. Okay. They just make a spread. So if they pause, that means they're going to pay on your behalf. So it's a bit difficult for them to do it. I think it's a good suggestion, but until it's going to be tough, because you're basically asking them to pay for you. Right? You understand the point? They borrow and create what we call a risk asset when they lend to you. So if you don't pay, then they also cannot service their own obligations, more or less. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. But what about an extension?
You want to do what's called a refinance.
Can you give more information? What you mean by extension? Is this what you like that you?
Pay a small fee to extend it to the like a small fee to extend it.
To extend grace to extend. So I'm not sure I follow, but we do not provide a small fee.
Okay, I was saying like paying a small fee to extend it.
No, we do not. We do not provide grace period. I think it's grace period they're trying to communicate. We do not provide grace period. You agree to a particular or an agreed tenor, and as such, you are expected to repay within that tenor, say 6 months, 1 year, and we do not provide grace period.
That's a good question, Rio. Thanks for that. Tell me, you got your hand up. Did you have a question?
Said,
yeah, Rio?
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I could hear you. I think he heard you.
Yeah, that said, it doesn't have to be like monthly. It's flexible for you to have weekly, and so periods where you think you've got excess cash, you could make advance repayment. So you make allowances for periods where you think you would have like downtimes. So it's a lot more flexible. We can provide flexibility with repayment. Not necessarily you have to wait till the end of the month. You could make it a weekly repayment. Does that work for you?
Yeah, it's okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
It's okay. Thank you very much.
Timmy, did you have a question? I see your hand. If you have had a follow-up question. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so the general knowledge I have about bank loans, from what I've read and seen, is that you get money and they get to decide how you repay the money. So let's say as a growing business owner, you get like e.g. 1 million naira, and they tell you have to pay this in the next 6 months with this interest. With Carbon, is it a bit more? I know you talked about flexibility, but maybe you can deep dive a bit. So, for example, if I come to you to say, okay, like on your app or website, and say I need a loan of, let's say, 2 million naira to run my business, and realistically, even based on the realities I have in my business and forecast, apart from whatever I have in my bank statement, is that I can pay back this loan for the next 1 year, based on assumption. Does carbon allow...
For very strange reason, I'm not sure I heard this question, but if you heard that clearly, do you mind just rephrasing for me?
Yeah, she was asking the question. She wasn't done. So Temi, go ahead and ask the question. Now I'll relate to the carbon. Yeah. So carbon, just hold on.
Great.
I'm going to hear her.
I'll just finish up and then you can help me relate to him. So does carbon offer that flexibility in time frame? Rather than the normal statutory, if you get this amount, this is the realistic number of months to pay back. Is there that flexibility based on the fact that you are not like a normal statutory bank that we all know?
So what she's asking is essentially like, if I take a loan from Carbon for say 5 months, 6 months, right? And like Rio is also asking, if I have to be flexible in my repayment, could I come in and discuss a flexible refinancing arrangement where maybe I extend the term or I refinance that loan for a different covenant as before I took the loan? I think that's what they're both asking. Can I walk into Carbon and sit down together and say, my cash flow didn't come through as expected, could we renegotiate? I get the question.
Okay, so I think, that's actually one of the questions Ray was asking.
All right, so
hold on, come on.
I can hear you.
Just hold on a bit. Tell me, you wanted to clarify your question? Go ahead.
Yes, for me, it's been plain from the beginning.
Uh-huh.
So based on all the permutations and reality of the website, and I've registered, and they say, okay, this money you want to get is 6 months that you have to pay back. Is there a way where we can discuss with Carbon to say, before I take this money, I know my business better than whatever is on the book. Can I pay back in 1 year? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So Carbon, what she's asking is, I think she's saying at the very beginning, before she even takes the loan, if you are offering her a loan of say 6 months, she's asking, can she discuss with you and say, oh, I think I can pay this back in 1 year rather than the 6 months that you've actually offered to on the loan? So can she like make a counter offer at the very, very beginning, not that she's taking a loan? Go ahead, Carbon, you got the floor. Hello.
All right. So the question that changes my.
I got you. Yeah, that's true.
If I get you correctly, you've applied for a loan. Let's say your initial agreement is 6 months, and you want to renegotiate for a year. You're asking if it is possible for us to change the same loan application that was stated for 6 months for, which you renegotiate it or update it to a year. Is that a question you asked?
Yeah, something like that. They are basically, I think that really what they're asking is, can we be flexible with you? Since you're not this traditional bank, can you be more flexible with your customers? I guess that's the general question they're asking.
Unfortunately, as it's we're currently, we do not provide such level of flexibility. Once it's 6 months, it's been agreed for, and there's been a disbursement to your account for the amount of money, let's say 1 million naira, 10 million naira.
Oh, and if you're still speaking, you cut off. Hello, sir. Okay, I think it's cut off a bit. Carbon, if you can hear me, you cut off a bit. So I'm going to get Desmond to ask his question, and I'm going to write that down. Desmond, I don't know if you can hear me. Is it me? Am I the one that's focusing here? Yo, Temi, can you hear me? Just doing a mic check. Temi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you properly.
Yeah, I think the Carbon guy cut off. I can't really hear him. And I wanted Desmond to go ahead and ask his question. Desmond, are you okay? Oh, we need to go on live now? Or I can move on to Chidi. All right, Chidi B. Chidi B, can you hear me though? What's going on, guys? All right, so I got Temi can hear me. Chidi or Desmond dropped off. Let me get a true one in here. Carbon, if I see you back online, you cut off whilst you were speaking.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, hi. Go ahead, Desmond. Now I can hear you.
Okay.
Well, my question is straight to Carbon. I want to know, is it do Carbon have any plan for those that are like a kind of those that are not digitalized, a kind of people that are operating their SMEs in a local way?
Wow.
Is there any plan by Carbon to reach out? Is there any plan for Carbon to reach out to people that are in rural areas and those that are into informal sectors and all that? Is there any?
Carbon, did you hear that question? It's asking really, is there, go ahead.
I think that's a good and pertinent question, knowing fully well the size of Nigerian informal sector. And for credit, it's quite a very tricky position. For now, due to regulation, we can't go beyond we can't stretch the limit of how much or lending to the informal sector without verification. So yes, if you can provide us with the required documentation for compliance reason, which is your bank statement that you're a registered business, that there's some sort of visibility to monthly sales, and you operate, whether it's in trade, service, whichever sector you're operating, and you operate in Nigeria. Once you can provide us this documentation, you're good to access credit to the limit that's available. However, if you can't, or for whatever reason you do not have this documentation, it is currently in Nigeria, we can afford to offer credit facility to businesses that are not registered.
So, let me ask you a direct question, right? So, this newness, you guys have an offer going on right now, right? Hello?
Yeah, we have. What kind of offer for SMEs?
Yes, no, I mean, no, I'm not talking generally, right? I've seen on the page, you guys have an offer going on now, right now.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, so I want to talk about that specifically, the offer for digital natives. I want to go back to that and just, can you speak on that particular offer and what basically it is, who can qualify, things like that?
All right. And so for currently, we are offering 30K loan for new users.
Mm-hmm.
And what that implies is you're on this call, and after this space, you similarly convinced, or maybe you just you want to try it out to verify all of our claims. You just go to download Carbon Hub, like I said initially, either on the Play Store, Google Play Store, Apple Store. Once you download the app, and you complete, emphasis on complete your verification, you can get access to a loan of 30K. Yes, and with this loan showing your credit report, absolutely it would show. But more importantly, you could access 30K loan for new users.
So essentially, if I download the app, I can, like you said at the very beginning, apply for this. Does this not have a particular name, or what is it called? Is there a specific product name for this 30K loan?
No, we don't give you a specific loan. And so they like I said, there are other loan names. There's Pay Later loan and there's Carbon Zero. And you could get the Carbon Zero is the buy now and pay later. Choose it could be Carbon Zero. Yeah, Carbon Zero loan, you can access that on the app.
So the Carbon Zero loan is the one that's for 30,000 naira. Is that what you're saying?
Both of them are for 30,000 naira.
Gotcha.
The Carbon Zero loan is more of buy now and pay later. It's a lot more flexible. The other one it's Pay Later loan. But both of them are 30K limit. You can get access to that. And
do you know how long so I can basically just apply and then I get that loan and I can use that loan more like it's like a line of credit or personal loan based on the criteria I've given earlier.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Right, so I've got Kosa. Kosa, you got a line?
Yeah, really know.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, I've been a customer of Carbon since the days of Toyota. I can say I've followed them from development from the initial stage to this point. I just want to ask a question. Assuming I have a loan, existing loan, let's say for a year, and let's say my third or fourth month, I discovered I have excess cash and I could offset, Is it possible for Carbon to just earning interest on those months rather than waiting to the first month. I just want to offset it with my first month. Do you have something to say?
I'm not hearing you. Let me get exactly. Let me be very clear. So you're saying you took a loan and you want to return the loan. Is that what you're saying?
Let us assume I have an existing loan to Carol. The initial payment is 12 months. Let's say the fourth month or the fifth month, I have access to excess cash and I want to offset that loan. Is it possible for Carbon to charge me interest for those months that I just want to offset? Just pay back the principal for those months that you want to offset. You are faithful, you pay from the first to the fourth month with your interest. Now you want to offset the remaining 8 months because you have access to excess cash. Is it possible for Carbon to just collect the interest, just pay the principal for the remaining 8 months? Is it possible?
Did you hear him, sir? Carbon, did you hear what he was asking? He's saying he took a loan for a year. Yeah. So, I mean, go ahead, sir.
Yes. So, Kosa, your question is it possible to offset your loan prior to the agreed due date? So, for example, it's a 6-month loan, you want to clear it in month 2. Would you be charged interest on the other months? And so, simply put, there are 2 types of loans. So, if it's a pay later loan, you would be charged because the agreement was a monthly repayment with an interest. You'll be charged. However, if you take a Carbon Zero loan, like I highlighted earlier on, it's a 0 interest loan. On this particular loan, there are no monthly charges accrued. And so, let's say you're meant to pay back in month 2 and you want to clear it before month 2. You're free to do that with no interest accruing. Is that clear? Did you get that, Kosa?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, Carbon, I'm also getting a lot of DMs on this 30K loan. I don't know if you could maybe just take it again. If you could just maybe explain it again. People are asking more questions about that. What's the name? I know you said there are 2 types, the 0, buy now, pay later, and the other one. We just want to be clear on that. So it's a 30,000 naira loan. How was the tenure? If you could just give us a summary again, that would be appreciated.
Sure. And so for Carbon, and so let me just go over it again. You are on this call, you have a need, and you could gain access to credits as low as 30,000. So what is required is you download Carbon app, whether it's an Android or an iOS device you're making use of. You download Carbon's app, and once you do that, you have access when you complete your verification, which is your bank statement, your BVN. Once you've successfully completed that verification, your KYC process, you get access to a 30K loan. And so there are 2 particular loan products you can get access to if you choose that. And so the initial one, it's 0, which is the typical buy and pay later. So you want to go on, let's say Jumia, you want to buy something worth of whatever amount, you get access to 30K to finance that transaction. It's easy. Once you create the transfer, you could get access to a 30K loan on Zero. For this particular loan on Carbon Zero, you do not pay a monthly interest. What you pay is a 5% processing fee, and it's one time, and you pay back. The second loan is pay later loan also 30K. You gain access to this loan. It's a monthly repayment structure, but more importantly, the earlier you repay, once you make repayments early, it improves your credit score, meaning you can increase your limit from 30K. So, for example, you agree to pay back in 2 months, and in month 1, you're able to clear back the 30K. What that means is we'll review your limit, and you can get it will be subsequently be improved upon. So the earlier repayment count is really essential. Where you can make repayments monthly, the earlier you clear this repayment, it helps to improve to increase limit.
That's interesting. So you're saying if I take the 30K loan for 6 months and I'm able to pay that loan off early, then it sort of internally it increases my score. Is it your own score in Carbon? It makes it look better for me. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it shows you're a good user. You are able to fulfill your obligation, but more importantly, you can repay faster. And that's the kind of customers we want to do business with. Any lenders we want to do business with. You make repayment, and in addition, what you get as a benefit for that is an increased limit. So you show that you have capacity to take more credit.
Okay. That's very interesting. I've not heard anyone say that. That's very interesting. Otilo, you've got the floor. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, good evening all.
How you doing?
Okay, before I go into my question to Carbon, first of all, let me thank Mr. Adja for hosting this program. And also to Carbon, I'm a customer, which I've been using your account steady. I remember last year when I started to start my building, at that particular point, I did not have any cash. I had to run to Carbon, which they really assisted. To Carbon, I'm grateful for your services. Then what I want to ask, your Carbon Zero, I know at the time I tried it, they said it's for only Lagos residents. I want to know, has it been open for everyone in all the states or still in only Lagos? That's to Carbon, I'm asking this question. So.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that question. It's really warming to hear that you made it a pro for a long while. So, why that is strange, yes, wherever you are in Nigeria, you could get access to Carbon Zero. You don't have to be in Lagos, or you don't have to be a resident of Lagos Island or mainland or whatever. You just have to fulfill basic requirements, which is you provide us with a bank statement with basic verification, customer verification. You can get access to Carbon Zero regardless of location. It's not location dependent.
Okay, then secondly, please, there's a time I applied for, that should be SME loan. That should be up to a tune of 3 million. I know it did not go through, but I was not given the reason why it was turned down. They accepted my statement and it was okay. It was okay to go. But at a point, they turned it down. But I did not get the reason. Though this maybe later I will send a mail to your office to know why it was turned down. But in everything, I thank you, and I thank your bank for the services you render. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. Just to wrap up on that. You said the loan was turned down. My apologies again that you didn't get enough reason or clarification as to why your loan was declined. And if you don't mind, you could retry applying for a loan. And if you, for whatever reason, you're unable to access that, please reach out to us on support. Someone will jump on the case immediately and give a clear resolution to that. My apologies again for your experience.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, gotcha. And I've got Ajogo. Ajogo, we're going to be one of the last speakers. I think we've spent an hour, unless Carbon wants to stay longer. So Ajogo, you've got the floor, so go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I have a question directly. I have 3 questions for Carbon. The first is, what is the highest limit that you can give on a loan? Secondly, are you guys on brokers? Do you have where we can invest in Carbon? Do you have platforms where we can buy shares also on Carbon? Get what I'm saying? Then the third question is, sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So the third question is, what is the? Sorry, I think those are my 2 questions. You can answer this.
Oh, you want to answer the first one first? Okay, go ahead.
All right. Just in case you remember the third question, I'm happy to answer that, and also I'm happy to stay longer to answer everyone's question.
Okay.
Your first question was around what is the highest loan you can get. Again, these figures are not fixed. At Carbon, we do not put a cap on how much you can credit limit, what you can get access to. What we do is we ensure that we have a predetermined income model or assessment model, where debt to income ratio is a very key factor in determining how much you make. So, for example, you make 30K. There are 3 people applying for loans right now this evening after this space. One is applying for 3 different users. You will not all get the exact limit because, example, reason being that is you have different income levels, there are different criteria that come into place. So there is no fixed amount you can get. If you have an income of, let's say, 100K, someone has an income of 500K, it's completely 2 different income levels. And as such, your limit to repay monthly is completely different. And what you have as limit is peculiar to your income level and every other factor. So no, we don't fix an highest amount of loan income. The more you earn on the platform, you pretty much can get more access to credit. And for your second question, do we do brokerage and sell shares? No, we do not. As with where we do not provide such service. What we currently have provided at Carbon is now is investment. You can invest, make investments on the program, savings and investment products. We do not have access to selling or buying or acquiring shares for publicly listed companies.
Okay. Ajogo, did you have any questions for follow up on that?
No, I think that's it. Thank you.
So, Carbon, so just Rio has his hand up. Rio, let me make you ask a question. I have a question for Carbon. Rio, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. I want to ask, my question is similar to that of Ajogo, but the reason I'm asking this is because, as a business person, where I put my money is where I know that I can get good credit score and develop a portfolio whereby I know that these people, they can, maybe if they see my money there and they know that I steadily use how they can easily give me money. So I want to ask, like, what is maximum limit, or do you guys, for SMEs, do you guys give up to 20 million?
Wow.
So that's my question.
20 million.
That's a large ticket size loan. Nonetheless, I would like to answer the first phase of your question. And so you could, it's not mandatory you submit just one bank statement. Like you said, some banks may use, say an example, use a particular bank more often than the others. But I would recommend and I would advise, once you're making applications for loan, you please submit all your bank statement, all the banks that has like consistent transaction visibility to help in the limit you can acquire. However, as it's where right now, we give limit loan. The limit loan maximum you can get for SME loans right now is 10 million. And in a situation you repay back in less than 6 months, you can get access to another 10 million. But right now, the maximum you can get for SME loan is 10 million naira.
All right, thank you.
That's interesting. So, Kevin, I've got a question, right? So, what are the next steps? Is there any go-to, any hashtag, or is just the Twitter site? Just for in case one is just dropped in, just give us the follow-up steps that we can do.
All right. Easily, if you want to follow up and get an access to this, one, you could follow Carbon here on Twitter, you could follow get Carbon on Instagram, and you can also check out our website for get access to more information that you require. So on our website, we have as much detailed information you want to try. And if you're an existing Carbon user, all you have to do is you can contact support, would respond to your issues immediately. It could be in-app, it could be on social media, whichever channel works best and suits you. You could reach out to us.
Gotcha. I've got Edward. Edward, you want to say something?
Okay. Hi. I have like 2 quick questions that I want Carbon to respond to quickly. There's someone else speaking.
I'm going to mute him. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So 2 questions I want Carbon to respond to quickly. Are there any limitations on what, if I get a loan from Carbon, for instance, is there like a limitation to what loans can be used for? Can I take the loan? Do you ask questions, for instance? Because I'm a Carbon customer myself, and I've been using Carbon for a number of years. So, of course, I know occasionally when you want to get a loan, you're asked, what is this loan being used for? If I decide to not use the loan, let's say, for instance, I say I'm getting this loan for an health emergency, and then maybe I don't need it for that health emergency anymore. I decide to use it to fix my shock absorber, for instance. Is there a penalty for that? Are there limitations to what I use the loan for? Then I think the other thing is, and I think Kalu mentioned it earlier, about a lot of loan providers, data privacy issues and stuff like that. Like, how does Carbon address things like that? Like, is my data secure with Carbon and all of that? So 2 questions. One is that, are there limitations to what I can use the loan I get from Carbon for? And the second one is that, what do you do in terms of protecting my data, my privacy as a customer?
Nice one. Carbon, did you hear his questions? You got the floor to respond.
have a question, please. I asked you, or with you guys paying back, somebody's going to call you to hound you on repayment. So you don't have that kind of expenses on carbon, and as such, you wouldn't get such experiences. For the first question you asked us, is it tied to a particular need? The answer is no. Like I said, it's 30K loan. You're free to use it based on your discretion. However, repayment is within an agreed. And so once you could pay back the loan, we are not particular about you using it for a specific need. It's a loan product. Is to help meet your needs. That's what it's designed for, not to meet your feeding or entertainment needs. It's meant to meet your needs. Whatever that need is, it's left to you to decide. I don't need to go.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, the second question, I didn't get your answer in terms of like what steps do you take, or is there like a internal policy in terms of protecting customer data, ensuring that privacy and all of that? I wanted to just maybe touch on that a bit.
It's okay. Yeah, I think we addressed this somewhat very early in the conversation. And so at Carbon, we follow very strict, and we have the best practices when it comes to data privacy, and work very closely with regulators. We ensure that we are compliant with area of data, and specifically for customer data. And we work with regulatory bodies, including GDPR and PCI, ensuring that we meet their standards for keeping data. More importantly is that we do not share customers' data with third parties. May we ensure that internally to policy we do not divulge customer data or data to third party.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I've got Omoyaoja. Sorry if I pronounced that name wrong. Got the floor, sir. Go ahead. At 99 Kini Woon. You got the floor. Go ahead, sir. Okay, so he's not speaking. All right, so Kevin, I think it's been an interesting conversation, right? I started off by talking really about the role of credit in wealth creation, not just for the individual.
Hello.
I think he's here now. Go ahead, sir. You've got the floor.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sure. Go for it. Ask a question.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kalu. Thank you. Carbon. I've been trying to do an update on my Carbon account, and it's been pretty difficult doing that. I tried to change my phone number on file. The one I have on file, I've actually changed it, and then the new one I want to upload is the one I'm using for my. Is the one attached to all my banks for receiving my SMS and all that. So, because I think each time I try to request a loan, I really don't get approved. I don't know if it's because of they cannot, if it's due to them being able to access my I don't know, maybe my bank or something. And then again, I try to submit my statement of account. It's pretty difficult. I've not been able to successfully do that. Each time I try to, it keeps failing. They are not able to complete the task. I don't know why.
Yeah. Let me start off by apologizing for your experience using that platform, and I would like to personally see how we can resolve that. Can you help take this conversation by reaching out to support so we can, every single complaint you have with regards verification with upload of bank statement, can you just contact support on our app? So once you do that, we'll be able to assign a customer agent would pick up your query and ensure it's resolved. Once again, let me apologize for the experience making use of our bank.
Okay. All right. So let's just take Rio real quick. Your hand is up. If you have anything to add, I'll take your comments before I get back to Carbon. Rio, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say something like this question is personal to me because you said something about digital natives and all that. And I want to ask a question because, okay, like, do you guys accept kind of form of a receipt or statement from what's it called again, cooperative societies? Because most of them don't, and they are not digital. They have not digitalized their systems and all that. So I don't know. So if you have a lot of resources there, can you really show what you have? Because most times it's not digital.
Okay, so
can you give me more information?
I think he's asking, if I can even broaden his question. He's saying, do you take like non-digital or very traditional means of collateral? If I have a cooperative account statement, that's an internal statement, right? Would that be sufficient to act as collateral if I want to take a loan from Carbon? Say I work in a company, we have an internal cooperative society, I have savings there, or let's even say my pension. Is that sufficient collateral?
For SME loans, this is not personal, this is SME, right?
Really? Yeah, I think it's like, let's do personal loans one. Let's do SME loans. You can answer both of them, yeah.
So for let me start out with personal loan. Nobody's going to require you send your pension slip or any other document. What we need is quite accessible to the general public. You need your BVN and your bank statement. And the bank statement, you don't have to. It's not necessarily for you to upload it. You can just give us your bank and we just pull that. So you don't need to provide any other documentation aside of that. For SME loans, we do not even request for either of them. We do not request for collateral of any sort. It's very accessible. However, for the SME loans, you would need to provide us. For compliance, you need to provide us that indeed this is you're requesting a loan for a business and it is duly registered under the laws of Nigeria. You operate in Nigeria, and more importantly, that you are a business that has traction or sales. And once you can provide us your documentation that validates that you're a registered business, you'll be able to access loan for SME loans. Either of them does not require any collateral of any sort. Does this answer your question?
No. Okay. Like, what I'm trying to say now is that, what if I have a lot of resources there? What if I have a lot of resources in a cooperative society and, they are not digital natives, they have not digitalized the system? So is it possible for you to receive like a traditional receipt from that kind of organization that you can use in checking or finding out how much credit you can give to me?
Oh, that's a picky situation. As it's where right now, we would need documentation that is validated by the laws of Nigeria and cooperative society. Any of those sort of platforms are not recognized. You just need to provide us. You could put the financing in your bank. Then once it's in the active bank account, yes, it will count. But once it's in cooperative society, any other arrangement, as it's where currently, we do not accept those documents as a means of verification for SME loans.
All right,
thank you.
That's pretty clear. So let me just go back to the earlier question I asked. I just want to be clear on this, right? What's the insight? Just give us again the insight that Carbon would use, to determine the loan amount for customers. Just how would you go back to my example? I want to borrow 50,000 naira. How would you process this application? What internal criteria are you using? I'm trying to get the answer so I can walk to the answer. If you could speak on that, that would be helpful.
All right, cool. Again, if you want to access a loan in Carbon, for personal loans, you just have to log into our app. Once you log into our app and you want to get a loan, you complete the required KYC. You can upgrade your KYC. And how do you do that? By providing us with your BVN, with your address, and every other required data. Once we validate those are correct, and you can now proceed to providing us with your bank statement. And so all of these play a key role when you're being assessed for a loan. So once you provided with your KYC, with your documentation, it could be your international passport, it could be your NI, whatever document that validates that you are indeed a national of Nigeria, and you also provide us your bank statement. These are what comes into play when assessing your or profiling you to give you the credit limit on carbon.
Okay. And then just again, let's just go back to this middle class and all that, how we making this credits up. I'm still going back to the demographics, while we're just talking about the native. Is there a gap in the market that you see for credits for, i.e., digital natives or middle class folks? Is that why we're doing this, or have we been doing this? Just talk to me about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. And so Carbon is a leader in the space of lending, and more importantly, we're a credit-led digital bank. We're not an instant lending company or fintech. We're a digital bank.
Okay.
And what we've done over the years is we've got an insight with our users. And one of the things we realize is they are middle-class digital natives, middle-class upwardly mobile professionals. And so what our credit product does, it ensures we provide these users with accessibility, seamless and quick access to credit facility.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. And so what that does is, let's take for instance, you're a middle class, you work a job, let's say in Ibadan or in Port Harcourt. You have a cycled income, you paid your salary, let's say in the 27th of each month, and you could, with your bank statement that validates this and every other user verification, you can get access to credit on carbon. For digital natives also, likewise, you're not excluded from this. You work whatever job whatever hustle that guarantees some sort of income for you. Once you provide us documentation or your vaccine that validates your income and also complete your KYC, you could get access to this. And this does not exclude people that run registered businesses, SMEs, whatever the size, we're not particular about that. As long as you could provide us documentation that validates that your business is duly registered and it does traction, and you have like a corporate, you've got a corporate bank account, you could give us the bank statement to validate this. You can get access to as much as 10 million naira loan for your business.
Okay, makes sense. Let me get Joe. I got Joe Oko here, and then we'll get Dim as well, and then we'll maybe start to close down. Joe, you've got the floor. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I don't know if this question has been asked earlier, but I really want to know.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Please go ahead.
Okay. There was a time I tried to open a corporate account with Carbon, and it was not successful. Is it now operational? Can one have a corporate account with Carbon?
Interesting.
And secondly, I want to know, there are some digital banks now that if you want to make transaction between Carbon and them, Carbon is not found on their platform. And even when you want to also receive from them, Carbon is still not found. Is there anything that is wrong, or is Carbon working on this particular problem? Thank you.
Great questions. Carbon, you want to address those? It has two quick questions. One, are you doing now opening corporate accounts? Two, the connectivity and all that. Yeah, great questions.
All right. Yeah. First, let me address your question on corporate accounts. We actually provide corporate accounts, or it's called Optimus. And you can set up a corporate account. I'm not sure exactly, but you could also, not just for you, for everyone having challenges, you could reach out to us via DM. A customer support agent will pick up your query and resolve that. And yeah, you can you could raise up that question with regards to corporate account. We can see how we can resolve that. And to your question, the other question on network connectivity with other banks, and that's an ongoing issue that's currently being resolved. And so you could also in the DM, you could share us which bank is involved or affected that doesn't recognize, or you're unable to transfer to us. But that as it has been resolved. You can transfer, you can receive and send money from Carbon to whichever banks that operates here in Nigeria.
Okay, great.
But please share your complaint on via DM so we can jump on that if there's any other challenge you're facing.
Excellent, excellent, good job. All right, so I've got Dim Alex.
Okay, good evening. Sorry for coming a bit late. My question actually was part of it were asked by the last speaker, that's the person that asked the last question. But I will now concentrate on the issue of the Optimus. That's because I got to know about carbon through Kaluaja post some weeks back. So my question now is on the issue of the loan, because I applied for a loan on carbon just about a week ago. So, and I understand that it takes about 3 to 5 days to get a response, but till now have not been able to get a response. And I also want to ask, just like the last speaker asked, that to open a carbon account, what are the requirements to open a carbon account? And the carbon account, if it's open, will it also run like the normal carbon app? But I have a personal account with the carbon, but I operate it using the app. So the current account, the gas corporate account, will it also is it an app or it will run on the Optimus platform? So that's my question.
Okay, great.
All right. Good stuff. Good question. So for the question with regards to the loan that you applied for, although I would require like more context to that, was it a personal loan, was it a corporate loan? But nonetheless, if it's a personal loan you requested for 3 to 5 days, that's really strange. Can you reach out to us via DM if there is something that was out of place, probably with your application, so we can jump on that. However, for the Optimus, if it's via Optimus that you made the application for loan, no, it's not accessible via the Carbon app. It's strictly via the web. It's on a web portal, so you could, for corporate account, you could access corporate account via the web, not the app. So please, you create an account, you upload your required document. As soon as you do that, you can get corporate loans. But for personal loans, that can be done via the app seamlessly.
Okay, great stuff, great stuff. Yeah, we're getting there. Nice one. Okay, so I see we're getting a lot of requests for you, sir. I'm not able to get to the DMs, but a lot of requests. Thanks for sharing. People are a bit more, have more clarity on carbon. We're gonna come back to your house question. This guy's asking about mortgages. So I don't think carbon does mortgages yet. Maybe yes. No, I don't. Do you guys do mortgages? Just let me ask for the record.
No, we don't do that.
They do mortgages. Okay, just ask for record. And yes, they don't do stockbroking. They're a digital. What you said, you were a digital bank, not a fintech. What does that mean? I don't know if you could.
Question. Yeah, sure. So for digital banks, we are licensed by the CBN and every other regulator to carry out certain kind of transactions. So, for example, we are allowed to run like a regular bank. We're not, our services are not just limited to savings and investment products. It's what is obtainable in your regular traditional bank. You could carry out those same services on carbon. So could it be investment? Could it be asset of savings? Could it be corporate loans? Could it be business loans? Could it be personal loans? Could it be bills payments? We do all of that in one, not just limited to one particular service. So you could do maybe, let's say, buying of bills from a particular app, and on carbon you could do all of these things like you could do in a regular bank like a GT or a First Bank. You could do every other service, but it's digitally.
Oh, okay, makes sense. Thanks for that clarification. Appreciate it. I got Adegbe. This is Philominum. Sorry if I've pronounced the name wrongly. You've got the floor, so go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Carlo. My question is just a very simple question. I want to believe technology is one of the major channels that carbon is using to deliver value. And I don't know if it's for me, there's been a recent...
Your audio is breaking up, sir.
I don't know if it's on this end that I've noticed financial technology companies, even though he said they are not a fintech company, but companies that use technology to aid the services that they offer, I've actually noticed that there have been a lot of downtimes with these banking companies, sometimes as long as a day, like
your audio is really off, sir. I'm so sorry about
just
that.
be off any service on the platform. So I don't know what. Oh, okay. So can you hear me, sir? Very clearly.
Yeah, go for it.
You're talking about yes, your technology, because I don't know. Almost all the financial technology companies that I know, sometimes they can have downtimes of up to a day. Sometimes even 2 days you can't carry out any transaction on the app. So, like, what guarantees Carbon giving around their technology? What's your technology like, and how can we trust the Carbon technology to say, okay, maybe when we are in a desperate time, we will not be experiencing any downtime and affect us in a way?
Yeah, that's a phenomenal question. That's a very good one. So yeah, your question is with regards our technology infrastructure and how can it ensure that customers are always guaranteed a stable or great service every single day. So yeah, this is not just peculiar to Carbon, like you rightly pointed in your question. This is affected by financial services. There are other underlying factor why it is particular with financial services in Nigeria. And nonetheless, at Carbon, we are always keen on innovation, and one of our core goal and our primary goal, principal goal, our first principle is putting the customer first. And over time, we realized that in a bid to ensure we guarantee consistent, excellent service to our users, we've had to currently upgrade most of our infrastructures. What is implied is that now you could get access to all our services and it gets better. Yes, we've taken note of things and complaints that customers and users have given us over the past, like rightly pointed out, service downtime, and in addition to every other technical or operational challenges we've been facing. And as a business and as an entity in the financial service space that is affected by these same issues, we're currently working on upgrading this. And in the coming days, you would see that just like last week, you see that there's an update. You probably got the communications from us nudging you to update your app. So whenever you get, if you have not gotten that also, maybe you get it in the coming days or coming weeks, please update your app. What that does is you improve the version of the app and make sure you do not have service downtime as you prior get. But again, apologies for inconvenience with regards to service downtime in the past, and it's something we are keen and we are consistent on giving great value for every time you use our product.
Oh, that was perfect. Great one. Someone is asking if you offer POF loans. I don't know what POF loans. I've asked him to clarify that if he does.
Well, I think I know that it's proof of funds. As of now, we do not provide proof of funds for our users.
Okay, so that answers that question. Is that for Jackma?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. Excellent. All right, good stuff there. All right, well, Cameron, I mean, it's been an interesting conversation with you. Like I said, we are all about talking about money, the finance, the economy, but I want to make it personal. How does it affect my pocket? And now we have an option, right? We've heard that if we have that need, we can actually get a loan for, say, 30,000 naira. And you've sort of you've given us the homework to say, if we pay back on time, if we pay back early, we can increase that line and maybe perhaps get a lower interest rate. So it looks like this is like an emergency fund I could start to build. Like if I was taking a loan, I would go to Carbon, get one, and sort of drive that number up to a limit where I can have something there that I can reach out and touch if I need it. So I do like that. I like that it's an option, just not just for the corporate side, also the personal side. That's also good. And I like that you've also been able to take the questions from the folks. I'm not hearing anyone really say anything too bad about Carbon. So again, kudos to you and to your team and to all the guys that run Carbon. I don't know if you have any closing remarks, sir, before I officially let us go enjoy our weekend. Carbon, do you have any closing remarks?
I just wanted to say that, again, thank you for joining this space. Thank you for taking our time to listen to our proposition. And for everyone that has raised queries, please feel free to reach out to us via DM if you can with your queries. Someone's going to pick it up and resolve them. And more importantly, I shared in this link how you can download, for those that are new users that are interested in this, please download the app. There's a link already attached. Please click the link. It takes you to the Play Store or Google Store to download the app, and you can complete that in very simple steps. Less than 5 to 10 minutes, you're done. Once you provide us with your basic verification, access to probably KYC for your BVN, your bank statement, and with that, you're good enough to access a 30K loan immediately.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Yeah, again, thank you again for giving us that option and educating us about it. I've also shared the handle. Carbon has put their handle on how you can download the app. There's a link there. I've done a retweet, so you can go to Carbon's handle at get_carbon, or you can go to my handle and also get that link there. And if you are interested, please download. But let me just close with advice for you guys. Debt is no front-loaded consumption. So if you take a debt, you're basically consuming your income in the future. But like I said at the very beginning, it's difficult to grow and to scale without having access to credit. The middle point is knowing how to utilize different types of credit at different life stages to grow your income and to balance, your balance sheet. So I'd like to see this loan be used for productive activities. If you're a startup, you want to borrow, you are taking a loan for working capital to boost your ability to deliver on your promise and your vision to your clients. Don't take a loan to buy a status car. You might take a loan to buy a delivery van, that's going to pay back. So in essence, if you're taking an interest-bearing loan, make sure it is being used for an interest-bearing or income and a earning activity. So interest-bearing loan should only go to income-generating activities. So with that word of advice, I will close out the space. Thank you guys for joining. Hope to be back here next week. I think next week is going to be on a Sunday. We alternate the days on the weekend and we hold the space. It's going to be a Friday, a Saturday, or a Sunday. So next week is going to be on a Sunday. Same time, 7 p.m. West African time, when we talk money, capital markets, finance, and we'll try to make it, of course, personal to you. So on that note, thank you, Carbon. Thank you all that have joined in. I appreciate all the questions. I wish you guys Godspeed and take care of yourselves.